Hello everyone. Today working this 2-year-old filly. She's maybe been lunch 3-4 times. Just wanted to show the basic of the position with your arms. I try to keep a V position. She's a little scared of the flag. It was really windy that morning, kind of stormy day, so it took her a minute to, but I make sure I stay center and I keep my stick low but towards her hip to keep that forward motion going. We always have obstacle and poles a little bit everywhere I'm moving towards these. I like them to start paying attention where their feet are as soon as possible. It kind of helps get her attention on something else than what's flopping in the corner. I keep my stick pointing. I like to start them on the smaller line. I put my hand up, line up with her eye. If I feel like she wants to come to me too much, they have to find that balance between the end of your line and your bubble where you want to keep them away from that distance so you can stay safe. Now I short it up a little bit to get her to walk, and as soon as she walks, I give her a little bit of line, push her back into that trot. So what I'm trying to really accomplish there is I cluck, follow through it with pressure, and when she go forward, I release that with pressure to teach her to go forward on that cluck. And for them to stop, I always walk away. I keep an eye on them. I do like to be able to make really tight circle on the long run, so I do not like for them to stop when I pull. So maybe a little bit of a difference between some of the other technique. I always walk away. Here desensitizing from that stick. Anything that's above their back, above their hip, I want them to relax. So I use it. They usually get a little tense. I keep doing it. As soon as they quit moving or relax, I stop to reinforce that when you relax and you don't move, that pressure go away. Now going to the right, which I would say 80% of the horses going to be a little more either pulling on the line or drifting on you more to the right as we handle them on the left side from the get-go when we start leading, and they're always more comfortable. Well, most of them are more comfortable going left. So to the right, she's a little stiffer, want to lean in on that right shoulder. Now doing our transition to a walk. I like to go walk, trot a lot when I start. I don't force them to lope until they pretty much usually one day are fresh, and I cluck and push that trot forward, and I let them go into that lope more on their own. I started that a few years ago, not pressure them for that lope as early, and it really helped them not pulling on the line, and they actually got loping good on the line sooner than the one I was trying to lope earlier, but they get really heavy on the line or they're not quite responding to your voice. So I feel like giving them a little more time and just do walk, trot, following me, help them to learn that pulling pressure. So when you go start doing in hand, more trail, loading in the trailer, they learn that pulling pressure to follow it. Here, starting to move that hip, a really good tool. If they're cutting it on you on that line, they're obviously not moving away from the pressure enough. So going back to basic, staying on the side, asking that pressure with your stick, your voice, following through with tap, tap, tap. And as soon as they move, releasing that pressure of your stick really help them learning moving away from you when you're lunging. And that's the start of moving the hip when you're going to be under saddle, leg pressure, more pressure, move the hip. So your stick is representing your leg. So teaching all that on the ground is really, really good start. They really relate to it when you're under saddle, avoiding confusion. Their desensitization again. You don't want them to be scared of that stick. You want them to respect it. It's a tool to add a little bit of pressure for them to understand what you're trying to accomplish. That filly is a little pushy forward when I try to move her, so that's why I'm backing, moving, backing, moving sideways, so she respects more to stay there. If you keep adding pressure to the side and you let them go forward, next thing you know, you will have hard time to keep them still and move their hip. They're just gonna bully forward. Reward often, so they stay relaxed. They're really at a stage that they're learning to learn, so you cannot add too much pressure. Then I was showing that she's leading a little better in hand, like showmanship style we were doing earlier last week or 2 weeks ago in the video. I'll do a little bit more of in hand probably next week. This week I'll be out of town, but here the flag. This filly is pretty reactive. I think she was more focused on the noise of the rain and the wind. Didn't really realize I was moving the flag, and then she was like, oh my God. So make sure you move it until they quit moving and then release that pressure. So they learn that as soon as they quit moving, that pressure go away. So it will really help when you try to introduce taking your jacket off or getting on their back. So they learn to not overreact. They have to build their confidence with you that you're introducing new things, new challenge, but that nothing is going to hurt them. So they'll trust you and not, get their instinct of running away or spooking, and just be calm and wait for your instruction. I like the flag. I go over their legs, between their legs, over their face. Flag is like the extension of your arm, so sometimes if you have hard time to touch one, it's still very shy on the leg, try to kick or try to paw at you, I use the flag. So I don't get hurt, obviously. And as they get comfortable with the flag, you can bring your hand closer and closer and then use your hand. That filly's been indoors since she's a baby a little bit. We don't do much with ours. We teach them to lead, pick up their feet, and we catch them to deworm them and change them pasture, but that's about it. So she's still a little sensitive. And that's probably the second or third time I've done the flag with her. So she's taking it really well. The main exercise I wanted to show was to back up when we move their hip. I've seen a lot of horse they get strong and you can barely hold them, or sometimes you cannot hold them still and move them sideways. They just, walk forward even if you're trying to hold them. So that's really exercise I want people to practice. If you feel that, make sure you work on that back up. There you go. Now she's not quite as pushy with her head. She didn't have a whole lot of attention since it was really stormy, so she's not really setting up her feet great, but we'll work a little bit more with her and show that later on. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.